At 9:14 on Monday morning, my garage app emailed me that my parking agreement was up for renewal Friday. I almost deleted it because I had sold my car 8 months earlier. Then I saw the vehicle on the account was my roommate Jenna's boyfriend's Honda. I changed the password and removed his plate. 12 minutes later, Jenna called from downstairs because his garage pass had stopped working. I answered on the third ring. Jenna did not say hello. What did you do to the parking app? I was sitting at my desk at work, looking at the renewal email on one monitor and my account page on the other. I changed the password. Why? Because Marcus's car was on my account. There was a pause. Then she said, "Yeah, I know." That answer bothered me more than if she had tried to deny it. How long has he been using it? I don't know, a few months. A few months? You weren't using it. That isn't the point. He pays for it. That stopped me. What do you mean he pays for it? Jenna sounded irritated now, like I was forcing her to explain something obvious. He gives me the parking money. I've been adding it to what I send you every month. I pulled up the transfers she had sent me. She was right. For several months, her share had been $115 higher than usual. I had noticed the amount changing, but our utilities moved around enough that I had never separated it out. I usually checked that the total was roughly correct and moved on. That part was on me. I should have looked. Jenna and I had been roommates for a little over a year. We rented a 2-bedroom apartment in a building near the train line, and the garage underneath it was run by a separate parking company. When I first moved in, I had a car, so I signed up for a resident parking agreement at $115 a month. About 8 months before this happened, my car needed a repair that was worth more than the car itself. I sold it, started taking the train, and figured I would decide later whether I wanted another one. I kept the parking account because I was already committed through the end of its current term. A few months earlier, Jenna had rented an SUV to pick up some furniture. I was out of town, and she asked if she could use my garage space for the weekend instead of leaving the rental on the street. I sent her the login. I remember thinking I would change it afterward. I did not. Apparently, Jenna remembered that better than I did. But she had also never once said, "Marcus is now using the parking agreement in your name." Instead, she had apparently decided that because I was taking the train, the account was available. I asked, "Did you change the registered vehicle yourself?" "Yeah," without asking me. "You gave me the login for a rental car. It's still a parking space, Alina." I closed my eyes for a second. That was basically Jenna's entire argument. The space existed. I was not using it. Therefore, she had found a use for it. She did not seem to understand why the part where my name was still attached mattered. I told her, "The renewal is Friday. I'm not renewing it." Her voice changed immediately. "Wait, what?" I was already planning to let it expire. "But Marcus parks there for work. Then he needs his own parking. He can't just suddenly find another spot by Friday." I looked at the email again. "That's why I'm telling you Monday." She hung up on me. About 10 minutes later, I got a text. "You could have talked to me before shutting it off." I almost replied that she could have talked to me before giving it away. I typed it, then deleted it. I was angry enough that I knew anything longer would turn into an argument about who had been more inconsiderate. So I wrote, "I removed a vehicle I did not authorize from an account in my name. The agreement ends Friday." She did not answer. That afternoon, I called the parking company because I wanted to make sure I had not misunderstood what I had signed. The woman I spoke with pulled up the account and confirmed that I was the license holder. I asked her the first thing that came into my head. "Can I just transfer it to the person who is actually parking there?" She said no. My rate was an older resident rate attached to my original agreement. It could not be transferred to another person. If Marcus wanted his own monthly parking, he could apply directly. The current non-resident rate was $290 a month. I actually said, "Seriously?" She laughed a little and said parking downtown had gotten expensive. That was the only explanation I needed. If I renewed, the agreement stayed in my name. If I did not, my access ended Friday night. Marcus could make his own arrangement. When I got home, Jenna was sitting at the kitchen counter waiting for me. That was unusual. Usually she ate in her room while watching something on her laptop. She had her arms folded. "Did you call the garage?" "Yes." "And?" I can't transfer my agreement. So renew it. She said it that quickly. Not would you consider renewing it, not can we figure something out, just renew it. I put my bag down. No, she stared at me. Marcus will keep paying you. I know, so what is the problem? The account is mine. That doesn't answer the question. It does for me. She shook her head. Alina, you literally take the train every day. I know, that's why I'm getting rid of the parking account. You're doing this because you're mad I didn't ask. I am mad you didn't ask. At least you admit it. For a second, I wondered if I was being petty. That feeling lasted longer than I want to admit. Marcus had a job about 20 minutes away by car. Street parking around our building was terrible. The garage was convenient. He had apparently been paying the full amount I was being charged. If I signed one renewal form, nothing would change for me financially. That was the easiest option, and I have always had a bad habit of confusing the easiest option with the kindest one. I told Jenna I would think about it overnight. She relaxed immediately. Thank you. That reaction bothered me too, not because she thanked me, because she acted like the problem had already been solved. Later that night, I opened the renewal form again. It asked me to confirm my contact information, billing method, and the vehicles authorized under my agreement. Marcus's Honda was still gone because I had removed it that morning. There was an empty field where his plate had been. I sat there for maybe 5 minutes. I could put it back. I could sign. Marcus could keep paying Jenna. Jenna could keep paying me. Everyone could stop arguing. And for another year, I would be the person responsible for a parking agreement being used by somebody who did not even live in my apartment. I closed the form without signing it. Tuesday evening, Marcus came over. He usually came in through the garage, but that night Jenna had to go downstairs and let him into the building. I was making dinner when he walked into the kitchen. He was polite at first. Hey, Alina. Can we talk about the parking thing? Sure. Jenna said you're canceling it. I'm not renewing it. Same result for me. That's true. He leaned against the counter. I've been paying for the spot. I know that now. I thought Jenna cleared it with you. That was the first thing either of them had said that made me slow down. Did she tell you that? He hesitated. She said you weren't using it. That's not the same thing. No. Jenna was standing near the refrigerator. She immediately said, I told him you knew he was parking there. Marcus looked at her. You said she didn't care. I said basically the same thing. No, it is. For once, I was not the person arguing with Jenna. I asked Marcus, did you know the account was actually in my name? I knew it was your space. Did you know the agreement was mine? He shook his head. That took some of the anger I had toward him out of it, not all of it. He had been parking in a resident garage for months without ever asking me directly about it. But Jenna had clearly made it sound more settled than it was. Marcus asked, can I take over the agreement? I already asked. They won't transfer it. What do they want me to do? Open your own account. He asked the rate. I told him. He stared at me. $290. Yeah, that's insane. I had an older resident rate. Jenna immediately said, see. This is why canceling makes no sense. Marcus looked at her. For her, it does. That surprised me. Jenna looked surprised too. He rubbed his forehead. Then he asked me, if I keep paying you directly, would you renew it for a couple months while I figure something else out? I told him the renewal was for another full term. He went quiet. That was the real problem. This was not me turning off a garage pass for an afternoon. Renewing meant attaching my name to the arrangement again because it was cheaper for him, and once I understood that clearly, I did not want to do it. I'm sorry, I said. I'm not renewing. Marcus nodded once. He was unhappy, but he did not argue. Jenna did. This is ridiculous. Marcus told her, drop it. She did not. You're costing him more than twice as much every month because you're offended. I turned off the burner. No. The garage is charging him its rate. I'm just not signing another agreement. She opened her mouth, then stopped. Marcus looked embarrassed. He told Jenna he was going downstairs to make a call. After he left, she said, you know I wasn't trying to screw you over. I don't know what you were trying to do. I was trying to use something that was sitting empty. That, at least, I believed. I do not think Jenna sat down one night and planned to trick me into carrying Marcus's parking account. I think she saw an unused space, remembered she had the password, and decided asking me would create a chance for me to say no. So she skipped that part. To her, that was efficiency. To me, it changed how much I trusted her. By Wednesday, Marcus had applied for his own parking agreement. There were spaces available, which removed Jenna's argument that I was leaving him with nowhere to park. The price was still the price. He texted me once asking whether I needed to do anything to release my old space. I called the garage and asked. They said my agreement would simply expire Friday and his new one could begin afterward if his application was approved. That was it. No complicated transfer, no special exception, no reason for my name to stay involved. Thursday night, Jenna tried one more time. She stood in my doorway and said, "If Marcus gives you the whole year up front, would you sign?" I almost laughed, but she was serious. No, why not? Because I don't want another year of something in my name that I'm not using. He would be paying. I understand, so you just don't trust us. There it was. I thought about giving her some careful answer. Instead I said, "Not with this, no." She looked hurt. I felt bad about that. I also meant it. Friday afternoon, the parking company sent me a final reminder that my agreement would expire that night unless I completed the renewal. For once, I did not nearly delete the email. I opened it. I checked that I had not completed the renewal. Then I closed it. Marcus's application was approved later that day. His new agreement started Saturday at the market rate. He did not get my old discount. He did get parking. The following week, I saw his Honda in the garage when Jenna and I came back from getting groceries. There was a new parking tag on the windshield, different account number, different agreement, his name. Jenna noticed me looking at it. She said, "He's still annoyed about the price." I figured. She carried one of the grocery bags toward the elevator. After a few steps, she said, "I should have asked you." It was not a huge apology. She did not say she understood why the account bothered me. She did not admit she had deliberately avoided asking, but it was more than she had said before. I would have preferred that, I told her. Things between us never went completely back to normal. We still lived together for the rest of the lease. We still split groceries sometimes. We still watched terrible reality shows in the living room when neither of us had plans. But I changed every shared password I had ever given her. We also stopped bundling little expenses together. If she owed me for electricity, she sent electricity. If I owed her for groceries, I sent groceries. It was less convenient. I liked it better. When our apartment lease came up several months later, Jenna decided to move in with Marcus. I found a smaller place closer to my office. The move-out paperwork had a checklist for every service attached to my apartment. Internet, utilities, keys, storage. There was no parking agreement on mine anymore. I took the train to my new place with 2 suitcases at my feet and never received another renewal notice for Marcus's car.